Hey everybody. Since one of the themes of this map jam is stealth, I thought I'd do a very quick improv video on some of the ways some of the tools you have to get stealth maps working. Because I know there's probably some people out there who've just slapped down a couple of characters, let them run at each other, call it a day, or maybe just haven't experimented with any of the stealth aspects of this game. So I just thought I'd do a few things about that. So the first thing is path points. Whenever you see a character in one of these levels moving around, following a particular patrol pattern, then they're probably following a path point. And so you just place these down, and then you hold the Alt button and click from one to the next to connect them all. And now, if I hold Alt after selecting this character and I click on one of the path points, you'll see that he follows the path. And by default, these will always be set to stand with the 0 weight, but if I put a bit of a weight there, and I haven't really calculated the nav mesh, so this does bug out, but if I put the weight there, then he's going to stand there for 5 seconds, because that's how long I've set him to, and then he should move on. And you can also put in either an animation, or most people could just put in these preset words, such as sleep, for example. Caps lock on. And then, when he reaches that point, he should lie down and sleep for 5 seconds before getting up. It's a cat nap. He's a rat having a cat nap. So he lies down. After 5 seconds, he gets up, moves along. You'll notice that he isn't perfectly following them right now. This is probably just to do with the nav mesh. When you don't calculate the nav mesh, they sometimes have a little bit of trouble following path points. So that's the first thing, is path points. That's how you can get the patrols and make your characters do something other than just stand there. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is just some of the things you can change about the character's statistics. And the useful ones you'll probably find are related to vision. So if we look down here, you have focus field of view, and you have peripheral field of view, and then you have horizontal and vertical. So think of this as a cone. So where this guy's eyes are right here, when you put 36 here, what you're saying is that he sees in a 36-degree field of vision. That's what he can focus on. And so that's kind of like that, maybe a little more. So if you were to increase that to 90, for example, then he would see a huge amount. He would see basically everything in front of him. And then peripheral field of view is kind of what you see out of the corners of your eye. And so you'll notice that that's way bigger, and he can see almost a 90-degree view, but the character will react a bit differently. He won't immediately jump into action until he focuses on you. So if he sees you in the peripheral vision, you have a moment to duck back out of sight. So that's what this does. And obviously the distance is how far away that is. So this would be a pretty knowledgeable character. With that set to 100, and let's say that's set to 500, he's going to see you across the map, whatever that number is. So those would be useful, and what you might not know, even if you have set these before, is that you can also add another modifier here. If you choose new parameter, and you type in hearing modifier, spelled just like this, well, not just like that, like this, there we go, then you can now control how far away he hears things. So if, for example, you wanted to make it really easy to just to determine everything by sight alone, you could just set this to 0, and now your character is deaf. And the higher you make this go, the more they're going to hear things like if they hear another rabbit squeak when they're being attacked, or they hear the sounds of combat, all sorts of things, weapons dropping to the ground. As this number grows bigger, they're going to hear that from further away and react and come to investigate. So that's something that perhaps some people didn't know. Another thing is maybe in stealth you might want a bunch of people to react all at once. If you just want to tell everybody, oh, cover is blown, tell everybody in the level where your character is. You can set your character to omniscient. And there's a way to do this in Drinka's Hotspot, which I might mention in a moment here. But in the vanilla options, you can do this through dialogue by making this at the end of a dialogue. And I think you might be able to do this through the overgrowth level hotspot if you know how to use the checkpoint system. I haven't tested that, though. Very unfamiliar, but logically I think it should be possible. And, of course, now that I've mentioned DHS, let's move on to, if you have Drinka's Hotspot or you're interested in it, you have a few options there as well when it relates to stealth. So the first one is that you could just straight up change the team on the fly. Let me just do character control here. So in character control, you can change the teams. You just pick the team and you choose what it is on the fly. And actually, this is also something you could do for Ragdoll if you want to set the character to Ragdoll whenever you want. And DHS also has a couple of other really good controls for stealth. You can actually directly control the AI, assuming it's not the player or a controlled character. You can tell the AI to investigate things, attack things. You can set up your own patrol points, or sorry, link to your own patrol points. You can do a whole bunch of cool stuff like this and a lot more precisely control what you want the AI to do. And you can also do a couple of checks to see what the AI is noticing. So like, does the AI know about a character? Things along those lines. Or is the AI close? You know, is the AI in proximity? So yeah, those are just a few ideas. If you've seen the theme stealth and you thought, oh crap, I've never tried to do something based on stealth before, where do I even start? Well, here's hopefully a couple of tools that can get you started. And obviously, this is always stated in the map jams, you can interpret stealth to basically whatever you want. If you have a different interpretation of the theme stealth, then you can interpret stealth to be that. And as long as we can find some sort of way to link it to stealth, it's probably good to go. So yeah, that was just a quick improv video. So good luck with everybody's entries, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody's creating.